What if the fate of the next Lakers dynasty doesn't hinge on the stars we know or the moves we hope for, but on the fragile, invisible threads of timing and perception? What if the very cornerstone we expected to build around is suddenly crumbling beneath us and all we can do is watch, helpless, as the pieces fall apart? Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truth meets purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a second of this drama. Because today, folks, we are staring down a sickening twist that threatens to reshape everything we thought we knew about Dalton Connect's future in Los Angeles, and by extension, the Lakers' entire tactical chessboard as the regular season relentlessly creeps closer. The offseason's been a rollercoaster, whispers of trades, buyouts falling through, fresh signings, but nobody saw this coming, or at least, nobody wanted to. Source of the turmoil, a blunt report from insider Jovan Buha, fresh off summer league, that can send shockwaves through Rob Pelinka's plans. Connect, once held in reverence as a first-round asset, has bleeding trade value, and the Lakers know it. Once viewed as a currency strong enough to pivot the team's future, now the whispers around the league say he's barely even worth a first-round pick anymore. Imagine the weight of that statement for a player who was once tied to a blockbuster. Mark Williams' trade, including the first-round picks and a Lakers pick swap. That trade was rescinded, a ghost of what could have been, and since then, the Lakers have shuffled and shuffled, trying to package Connect and that prized 2031 first-rounder for a defensive stalwart, a point-of-attack defender, or anyone who could plug the gaping holes on the roster. Even promising names like Nick Claxton came up. But the silence of deals coming through speaks volumes. Summer League was meant to be a proving ground, a reset button, but Connect failed to rise to the occasion. A few bad outings, outplayed by G-League hopefuls, and a glaring deficiency on defense, not just a lack of hustle, but foot speed that betrays his role. Yes, his scoring is elite when he's on, and yes, the Lakers are painfully thin off the bench, but the emergence of Jake LaRavia and marquee signing Marcus Smart thread his minutes and role. LaRavia, younger, hungrier, and Smart lethal as a perimeter lockdown defender and a vocal leader, have reshaped the bench hierarchy. Talk about cruel irony, from being a centerpiece in a multi-pick deal to almost an afterthought. Connect's plummeting stock is a brutal narrative arc. It's hard to reconcile with the flashes of brilliance he showed last season, averaging nearly 9 points a game, shooting 37% from three, numbers that still carried promise. But the second half of last year told a different story, falling out of Duke's rotation, out of the playoffs lineup. His defensive liabilities magnified in a team desperate to win now. Remember how the Lakers last year were a patchwork on defense, Luka Doncic hampered by injury, Reeves gifted offensively, but a defensive question mark, Vanderbilt an elite defender trapped on the bench due to offensive limitations. It's clear Pelinka's hand was forced. Sign Marcus Smart without giving away assets, because losing him meant sacrificing the last semblance of wing defense. And the Lakers didn't land Andrew Wiggins or similar wing defenders, though the door may still be open. But coming back to Connect, trade offers have dried up so much that keeping him feels like the lesser evil, even if that means squandering draft capital and betting on untapped potential. Pelinka's famous patience is on trial here. Is he banking on 2027 trades or future asset accumulation? Because these current moments are dangerous, and history reminds us how quickly promise turns into regret when timing slips away. Throw into the mix the emergence of Bronny James carving out minutes, Jackson Hayes stepping up on the boards, and Jared Vanderbilt, who's reportedly been in the gym grinding but remains a mystery. As to next season's impact, the bench picture is crowded but also fragile. If Connect flames out early, his value will nosedive further. Diminishing trade leverage, the Lakers are undeniably in win-now mode, so every minute matters, and there isn't room for growing pains without consequences. And yet, in this chaos, glimpses of hope flicker. Jake LaRavia recently praised Marcus Smart, describing him as a dog, an energy beast, a leader, someone who could transform this Lakers unit not just on the court, but in the locker room. Smart could slide into the starting lineup, reshuffling rotations, perhaps moving Reeves off the starting five or creating new chemistry alongside Doncic, LeBron, Rui, and Adriaton. It's a lineup that excites, but also challenges egos and roles. Will Reeves accept the bench? Can everyone coexist smoothly? Meanwhile, the Lakers shed Jordan Goodwin to Phoenix, a casualty of roster tightness caused by Smart's arrival and shedding Shake Milton earlier. It's a small money-saving move, but emblematic of a front office juggling salary exceptions, contract nuances, and the harsh arithmetic of building a roster on the edge. Goodwin was solid, no doubt, but not untouchable, and his departure leaves us wondering who will emerge as that glue guy off the bench, who can help stabilize this new-look Lakers squad. So here we are, a team with stars still shining bright, but surrounded by clouds of uncertainty and asset diminishment. A player once a promising centerpiece now struggling to maintain value. A front office walking a tightrope between patience and urgency. What if the lasting legacy of this era isn't defined by ring count, but by the missed opportunities and quietly overlooked moves? Or the crushing reality of draft pick erosion? As a lifelong Lakers fan, I can't help but feel this is more than just a trade asset losing value. It's a symbolic fracture in the foundation we hope to build on. The stakes are painfully real, the emotional charge palpable, and the questions not deeper. Can the Lakers navigate this labyrinth and emerge stronger? Or have we glimpsed the first cracks in what was supposed to be a new empire? So is this the start of a new dynasty, or the beginning of our unraveling? Drop your take in the comments. I'll be reading everyone. Listen up if you think this is just another off-season blip, a chapter in some routine Lakers soap opera. You're dead wrong. This isn't just about Connect's faltering trade value, or Pelinka's gamble on patience. This is a crossroads, a raw, bleeding wound being exposed on the very soul of what it means to be Lakers fans in the 2020s. Because at the heart of all this turmoil isn't just a contract or a clip on highlights reel. It's the weight of the legacy LeBron carries on his royal shoulders, and the crushing burden AD must bear as the team's defensive anchor, while Bronny's emergence from the shadows whispers of a torch demanding to be lit before our eyes. And oh man, it's messy, it's frantic. It's a pressure cooker where every misstep could spiral into chaos or diamond-forged glory. Remember the Showtime era, that electric, unshakable confidence when Magic danced like he had the universes. Permission, and the 2000s Kobe Shaq dynasty when dominance wasn't just a goal. It was a mandate run like a blazing symphony. Then, the heartbreak of the 2010 revenge titles where grit and pain meshed into championship gold. And the miraculous 2020 bubble banner that felt like redemption, snatched from the jaws of a broken season. But what if all those triumphant chapters were merely preludes to this current test of potential fracture that no number of rings can fix? If Pelinka's blueprint unravels beneath the weight of failed assets and cloudy futures? Because the Lakers aren't just a team, they're a living narrative. Jeannie Buss may hold the reins, but what if the winds shift dramatically with a billionaire stepping into the equation? A silent titan who could disrupt the fragile balance of power. In Hollywood hoops, could that usher in a golden renaissance? Or ignite a bitter turf war that leaves even fewer assets and trust for the existing front office to work their magic? What if the Lakers front office, once lauded for savvy drafting and bold moves, is now being crushed under the impossible weight of heightened expectations and a market that no longer favors extended rebuilds? That's the damn knife twisting in the dark right now. And the ripple effect, man, the Western Conference looks ready to feast on any weakness. The Warriors, still clutching the championship crown, sniff blood if the Lakers stutter early. Denver's young guns are hungry, fueled by that Jason Kidd energy of old Lakers teams, talented, driven, ready to snatch the throne if given a whiff of hesitation. And don't sleep on Phoenix or the Clippers, to franchises that have crafted their own identities, with grit and swagger, standing by to pounce if the purple and gold start to wobble. This West isn't the peaceful, predictable playground of the past. It's a battleground where legacies can be built or destroyed every night. Imagine the psychic strain on Reeves, who's already edged out of the starting unit, fighting for identity, respect, and a place to breathe while Marcus Smart becomes the defensive maestro orchestrating stops and sparks. What if Reeves resents the shift? What if internal friction bubbles to the surface and fractures the locker room once again? We've seen it before, the pressure cooker atmosphere, turning champions into strangers, coalescing talents into fractured factions instead of cohesive dynasties. And speaking of pressure, what about Bronny James, the heir apparent who's stepping into the bright glare of a legion of fans and skeptics alike? Every minute he carves out feels like a microcosm of the franchise's future, hanging on the shoulders of the next generation. But what if that pressure breaks him before he can break out? Imagine the heartbreak if that narrative becomes just another cautionary tale in the endless Lakers ledger of hope and heartbreak. Jackson Hayes, Grinding in silence, but shining in the shadows, will he emerge as a key chess piece? Or will he be swallowed up in the deepening quagmire of uncertainty? On a roster that's bursting at the seams, but starving for cohesion, and Jared Vanderbilt reportedly locked in the gym grinding. What if his game-changing potential finally surfaces and sparks the kind of defensive foundation the Lakers need to quiet their bleeding backcourt? But then, imagine if it doesn't. What if all this hustle isn't enough to overcome the cracks that have been widening since last season? What if Connect's fading star and the bench logjam spell a disaster season that echoes far beyond the hardwood? Look, we've been through this painful cycle before. The Lakers' history is a testament to how quickly fortunes swing from shimmering elation to soul-crushing despair. The glory of the Showtime 80s taught us about relentless ambition and show-stopping brilliance, but also the agony when dreams were dashed by injuries and contenders who outplayed us. The early 2010s were a masterpiece of resilience, yet even Kobe and Pa's glory years couldn't prevent the eventual decline that followed. And the post-2020 title period, that bubble victory felt like healing a broken franchise. But was it just a brief exhale before the relentless march of instability knocked down more walls? Now the clock is ticking louder than ever. The luxury tax burden tightens like a noose, the draft assets vanish into thin air, and the roster feels like a compromised puzzle missing key pieces. Can the Lakers reconstruct magic with what looks like the scraps and dregs of fading dreams? Or will this generation become a painful footnote, a sad chapter of what could have been, remembered for the promise that slipped away while the Warriors coasted to more titles, and the Western Conference reshaped itself around new kings? There are mornings I wake up thinking that the only dynasty that truly matters is the one LeBron carves out before he's done and everything else is noise. But let me tell you, the pressure on him and Davis has never been this raw, this palpable, this merciless. What if LeBron's final chapter becomes a tragic masterpiece of almost instead of etched in gold? Championships. What if AD's body breaks down under the weight of carrying a team that's being pulled apart from the inside because key pieces like Connect falter? What if the last glimpses of greatness are actually warnings of decline looming just beneath the surface? But here's the final thought, the thing that stings most of all. What if this isn't just a team problem or a mismanaged asset? What if it's a soul problem? The Lakers' soul, the collective heartbeat of purple and gold warriors and their fans, burning brightly or flickering weakly under the glare of expectation and history. What if the true battle isn't won in the offseason or the trade market, or even the games we watch, but in the hearts of the people who bleed Lakers pride? As a Laker till the day I die, here's what I see coming. This upcoming season won't just disturb the status quo. It will either forge a new path of resilience and rebirth or shatter what's left of a once great empire, leaving scars that echo long after the final buzzer. The stakes aren't just championships, they're identity, legacy, and the very essence of what the Lakers mean to all of us. Now, I want to hear it from you. Drop your raw take below. Every true believer in purple and gold, what does this moment mean to you? Can we rise from this chaos? Or are we staring down the edge of something the franchise may never fully recover from? The clock's ticking, and the saga is far from over.